What is up guys, Julien here of Social Vignerons. Welcome back to another wine video. So this is episode number 1 of a new wine video series that we are going to be calling Talking Wine with Julien. Some of you may already know my series called Tasting with Julien. I'm up to episode number 26 at this point, where I review wine and discuss wine and taste wines with you, and we learn a little bit about wine on those videos, about specific regions, specific producers, specific wines. But here is the deal with Talking Wine with Julien, and here is what I would like to do. So I am a trained French winemaker. I was trained in Bordeaux. I worked a little bit in Bordeaux, including in some of the top chateaus there. And then I spent about 10 years making fine wines in different countries around the world. I worked in Spain and in Italy, in California, in Australia, in New Zealand. I worked for quite some time for winesearcher.com, one of the top wine websites in the world. I have a WSET diploma, so I've spent a long time making wine and studying wine. So just this to say that I do know a little bit about wine to start with, but as you know, one can never know it all, and the more you know that you don't know. And so I know I still have a lot to learn, and I want to continue learning, and I would like to share the experience of learning about wine with you, share the knowledge that I have, and learn and explore the world of wine simply, always with simple terms, simple words with you, and continue exploring, but sharing the experience. Wine is for sharing, wine is for sharing the experience, essentially. You know, you don't want to drink a wine by yourself, and same thing, I think it's a bit silly to research and study wine and keep it for yourself. So here is the deal with Talking Wine with Julien. I'm going to take a topic and spend 3 minutes. I want to keep these videos short, under 5 minutes if possible, so it goes quick, so we don't waste anybody's time, and so you can just take a few minutes off your day to learn a little something about wine. So I'm going to take 3 minutes on a specific topic and tell you as much as I can about what I already know and what I've learned through my research preparing the video. So for today's topic, I've taken a topic, and I actually ran a poll on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, go there and I will ask and run polls on what kind of videos you want. The topic that I've taken today, and I'm just realized that what I would like these videos to become is that once I've discussed the topic, that you give me some comments about what you found interesting, what I've missed, what I got wrong in the video, maybe correct me, and I might, get things wrong, so add things to the conversation, and maybe we can run more specific videos later on as well, on more specific or different angles on the same topic. And so all together we start learning, we start exploring, and we have conversations and increase everyone's knowledge through the videos themselves, but also conversations. So today's topic is a topic I picked from Twitter, a topic that I guess I'm relatively comfortable with. Today's topic is Cabernet Sauvignon versus Merlot in Bordeaux. So I'm going to set up a timer and spend 3 minutes telling you everything that I can about Cabernet Sauvignon versus Merlot in Bordeaux specifically. Let's go. Okay, so 3 minutes about Bordeaux, just setting up my timer. So Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot are definitely the two main grape varieties in Bordeaux. 90% of Bordeaux wines are red, only 10% are white and rosés, and some sweet wines as well, especially in Barsac and Sauternes. So Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, definitely the two main grape varieties. What's more surprising though is that Merlot counts for 66% of all red wines, and Cabernet Sauvignon for about 22-23% of all red wines. So definitely much more Merlot, surprisingly much more Merlot wine in Bordeaux. The rest of them are Cabernet Franc and a little bit of Petit Verdot, and they're very small proportions. So essentially, winemaking in Bordeaux started with the Romans. The Romans identified that this was a great area for cultivating grapes. So how did Merlot and Cabernet came about in Bordeaux? Essentially, they came with selection of vines. Vine selection, a bit like animals, is selecting grape varieties and the best grapes for a particular climate, for a particular site. So essentially, over the generations, what they would do is that they would plant different vines, different vineyards, and then when they would replant or plant a different vineyard, they would select specific plants that worked and that produced gorgeous grapes and good wines. So every time they would replant a vineyard, they would slightly make the grape variety evolve and change, and that's how over the generation you select a specific grape varieties. Obviously, Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon were developed through the centuries, since the Roman Empire, through the trade to the British and the trade to the Dutch, which made the grandeur and the importance of the trade in Bordeaux over the centuries. Over the generations, they selected and they changed the grape varieties slightly to end up with great grape varieties that are particularly adapted to Bordeaux. Those are Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. The great thing, the fantastic thing about Bordeaux is that it's relatively cool. I mean, it's a warm southern region of France, so there's plenty of sun, but it's relatively cool to ripen those grapes, which results in just ripe Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, and those just ripe grapes make the finer wines. This is why Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot outside of Bordeaux tend to be bigger and a bit more more rustic and a bit more just in your face, while in Bordeaux they obtain this dryness and this savoriness and finesse to the expression because it's cooler. Now there is a divide in Bordeaux, a geological divide, because there was a fault, and so the right bank is a bit higher than the left bank, which causes that... Oh, is that 3 minutes already? This is definitely too short. Let's go on for another 2 minutes. So there was a divide in Bordeaux. Right bank is higher than the left bank, so the right bank has more clay in the soil, which results in cooler terroir, while the left bank has more gravels. The clay results in cooler terroir, and Merlot ripens earlier. So everywhere on the right bank they favored the Merlot because they can ripen it faster and better. So everywhere around Bordeaux, from the Entre-deux-Mers, all the Libournais, the Saint-Emilion, the Pomerol, and also all the Côte de Bordeaux, so that's the Blaye, the Bourg, and the Côte de France, and all the southern right bank, the Côte de Bordeaux are a majority, huge majority, Entre-deux-Mers as well, a majority of Merlot, while Cabernet Sauvignon is mainly in the Grave and in the Médoc on the left bank, because it takes some big gravels, warm gravels to ripen and make some great wines. And this is also why there is a much more Merlot in Bordeaux. In terms of the expression of the wines themselves, Merlot is rounder, bigger body, softer tannins, smoother tannins on the right terroir, and it does benefit a lot from the clay soils, especially those of Pomerol and the limestone terroirs of Saint-Emilion, where they achieve the finest structure of tannins. Cabernet Sauvignon takes a lot of sun, gravelly soils, a lot of heat from the sky, from the sun, but also a lot of heat reflected by the gravels to ripen, and it gives bigger, rounder, a bit grosser tannins, except for the very finest terroirs, and that's what this makes the distinction between the top Grand Crus of Médoc, and including the Graves, and more regular, normal, less qualitative terroir, and that's what caused the 1855 classification and the divide between the Grand Crus of Médoc in particular. This is what I knew, what I could share briefly about Cabernet Sauvignon versus Merlot in Bordeaux. Let me know if you got any questions, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper with the different appellations, whatever, the different grapes and how they're used in the winemaking. The blending is obviously of those two is obviously super important in Bordeaux, and in marrying the qualities of those two grapes to make a harmonious wine from the start to the finish of the tasting experience. Hope you enjoyed this episode number 1. I will get better and better. Hope you've learned something today. Let me know in the comments which topic you would like to cover. I will run a poll on Twitter very soon about the next video. I will try to make 1 or 2 of those this week, a bit more if they are popular, and I will see you soon in the wine world. Cheers.